description, at least in YouTube. Should be.
Perfect.
Hey, go live, guys. Come on. Okay. Sorry, this thing's like giving me crap. Hello, guys. This is Christy. How's it going? Welcome. Hey, Catherine. Welcome to lunch hour. So let me go ahead and get off of here. And we have a guest, Jason Lenox. I worked with him with the Satanic Coloring Book. Awesome. He put DemonBitch in there, and he's got a new one called Lords of the Cosmos.
Yes.
Now, yeah, and before we get into that, I'm going to make a couple of announcements, but just let you know, Jason's Kickstarter is ending in about 4 days. So look in the doobly-doo, like the little descriptor box with all this stuff at the below, and you can go and click on it. Go ahead and support it. He puts together fun stuff, and we'll get into that in a minute. We also have Fan Expo coming up. I'll be there, and basically, I think November 29th to December 1st. I'll have the links up over there in the banners down below right here, and I actually should show that. And also, here's the banner for it. It's basically an epic inspired comic book. Want to get into a way, Jason? And we'll show the video in a little bit.
Yeah. So I can give a little elevator pitch. Lords of the Cosmos is a 1980s toy and cartoon inspired sci-fi fantasy comic based on an ancient post-apocalyptic world where magic and technology collide, and ancient heroes have to come out of their self-imposed exile to fight a group of savage cybernetic villains one last time to protect the world of Aiden. So it very much leans into that 80s toy and cartoon tropes and stereotypes, and it's a lot of oversized, over-the-top fun.
Yeah, I took a quick look at it. It kind of reminds me of heavy metal and probably He-Man in a way, and like also the heavy metal cartoon. I know that sounds redundant, but there's some elements of the heavy metal cartoon that are in that. But while we're here, let's go ahead and play the video, and we'll see that pitch. Let's see if it'll do it.
Lords of the Cosmos, unite! The critically acclaimed comic book series by Jason Lenox, Dennis Follen, and Jason Paul Nature returns with issue 5. Welcome back to Planet Aiden, a land where banished Greek gods, undead unicorns, cannibal cyborgs, and a vengeful dominatrix all wage war over a world run by a planet-sized machine. Lords of the Cosmos, issue 5. Featuring 3 mind-bending stories on 44 pages in classic black and white. Heroes are summoned and villains betray one another, forming new dark alliances as the main storyline continues in Enemy of My Enemy. Archvillain Zemba's daily routine of decadence, torture, and sadism is turned upside down in A Day in the Life, when domination and introspection collide. During the First Cosmic War, a group of Lords of the Cosmos commandos go deep behind enemy lines to discover the Disciples of Umex's latest flight in Pulse Part 1. Inspired by 1980s favorites like Masters of the Universe, 2000 AD, and Heavy Metal Magazine. Lords of the Cosmos 5 features a variety of unique rewards, including variant covers from Koi Fall, L.C. Freitas, Caesar, and Ignacio Ragnarsson. See why Indie Comics Dispatch says Lords of the Cosmos pulls all the nostalgia strings while managing to also create something new and unique. And Behold the Geek says Lords of the Cosmos is an insane sci-fi fantasy comic that takes no prisoners. Back Lords of the Cosmos issue 5, now on Kickstarter.
There you go, guys. Go ahead and take that look. That's a pretty epic video, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Christy.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? One of the drawings, like with the tentacle monsters, that kind of reminds me of Prison Pit from Johnny Ryan. I know it's not, yeah, it's not exactly the style, but the idea of
Mhm.
those weird, like just random monster rubbery things type stuff that like it reminds me of. But yeah, so you're doing really well. It's 6,795 out of 4K. So obviously when they get or back anything, they'll get it definitely within 4 days. So essentially, so who's the hero here and who are the villains, or is it all kind of an equal playing field in terms of
Hmm.
good or bad or alignment?
So very similar to a lot of our favorite 80s toys. There are the good guys who are the Lords of the Cosmos, and that's their logo there on the screen with the planet with the sword through it.
There we
And
go.
then their arch villain nemesis group is called the Disciples of Umex, and they are the ones with the hand with the cybernetic eye in the middle. And they are like two armies. So they all wear their logos, so we know who they are. And the heroes are led by a character that appears to be a Greek god that no longer lives on Mount Olympus, and he's now on this alien planet. And the villains are led by Umex, who is some kind of mishmash. That's him there with the three tentacles
Gotcha.
of a cyborg zombie creature, and he's the leader of the somewhat weird religious villains. He's our Skeletor, he's our Doctor, he's our Mumra, he's the main baddie, and then his underlings are around him. And one of the fun things in issue 5 is there starts to be dissension in the ranks, where Zemba, who is the lady with the leather outfit in the video, she has a change of loyalty to herself, and it appears that she is making moves to eliminate the boss. As we wrap up the main story, and then in her origin story, A Day in the Life, we examine maybe why she's no longer happy working for someone anymore. Maybe she wants to be the boss.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you have like this sort of usurpation in the ranks, basically. Like, I don't know why I think the dominatrix makes me think of like the Evelyn character kind of thing.
So one of the things, we're big Masters of the Universe fans, and we took a lot of direction from those old stories, is there was a lot of kind of trope characters where there's like a leader, then there's kind of like a number 2 femme fatale, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the villains have 2 femme fatale characters, Obsidia and Zemba, and they both are kind of in that Evelyn wheelhouse. They don't really like each other a whole lot. So one of the things with Lords of the Cosmos is we want to have a lot of things that'll seem familiar, but we don't want to be so derivative where you're like, this is completely something we've seen before. So I often compare this to like a Western, where we can enjoy the Fistful of Dollars movies, and we can watch Unforgiven and say that kind of feels a little familiar to me, but it's different, even though the genre is the same and there's some of the same character types. Like here's the man with no name, but now he's a little bit different. So I feel that Lords of the Cosmos does a great job of giving you some familiar things, but they're different enough that they stand on their own 2 feet without being completely derivative. So it's a fine line to walk where you get the feels, but you want them to be original ideas that the feels are the accent, not the basis for the entire project.
That's why I'm kind of laughing at Obsidian and Lady Vi. They're like complete polar opposites in terms of color. Like one is blonde and white or pale, and the other one is like this dark dominatrix kind of person.
Yes.
Yeah. And also I'm like taking a quick look at the dialogue. It's kind of like one of those things like you kind of get from those pulp horror kind of things or pulp comics, like Lord this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's just kind of funny and slightly cheesy in its own way, but it works with the rest of it. It's like, it moves the story along well. That's the thing.
Yeah. And I think Lords is a little bit over the top everywhere. And some of the stuff works because everything is over the top. So there's a robot samurai, there's a lizard cowboy, there's, cyborgs addressing each other with like royal titles. And again, if you had a very serious grounded story and threw one of these elements in, it would just seem ridiculous. But there's so much in this that is ridiculous that it all works because everything's ridiculous. So
yeah, this drawing reminds me of Mebius right here, like how the placement of the elements are kind of like heavy metal, the old school.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of saying, and so what about the covers? There's like a couple of covers, and there's an example. And which character is this one? This is
So that's Zemba. That's the cover. That's the main cover that's my artwork there with Zemba.
nice.
So that's her. And so that's the main cover for the project. And then the variants are below with some different creators. There's Koi Fam. He's pretty awesome. There's LC Freitas there, and then he did a spicy version of that cover. So we have a censored for the Kickstarter children, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a nude cover, which we've never done before. So that was kind of fun. And my inker Caesar, he did that cover there we're looking at, which was fun. And that is Ignacio Ragnarsson, and he did an anime version cover. He did Zemba and Cycorn as 90s anime characters, and I quite like that.
It's kind of interesting how Cycorn, it's like interesting because you said he was a zombie, but he also looks like a mutant too, like back in the day. Like
yeah, and I think a lot of that 80s stuff is always like, are these guys zombies? Are they mutants? Are they cyborgs? And I kind of leaned into that where it's like, you know, undead, cyborg, just kind of jamming some of those words together and having fun. And Cycorn's always been a fun character. We like him a lot. He's been one of the characters that's got a lot of time in the book over the first 5 issues, and he's a hoot. He's always in some kind of trouble and fighting and feuding and inserting himself into his misadventures and screwing up. So he's kind of like Starscream in many ways.
Beastman too. Beastman would do that too, and He-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because also I don't know if she whips him, but that's hilarious because you know how, you know, Skeletor would always zap him and everything, and it would be like sort of. I think we would like laugh later. It would be kind of like if you looked at Narkill, like they would kind of make fun of them as like this really weird, like abusive gay couple or something, you know, for Beastman Skeletor. Oh yeah, Beastman and Skeletor, but also Skeletor kind of sounded like very much a queen, basically, like He-Man, you know.
I don't disagree with that, and you know, as we've gotten older, Skeletor is kind of funny, and it's you bumbling boob, like
yeah, and it's weird because like Evelyn was kind of his beard too, although he was kind of his lady later on or something. It was interesting, yeah.
But you know, a lot of that stuff was for kids, so I get it. They never wanted to make it like too sexual, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like it's like children's versions of relationships. So I'd say that they were not necessarily a beard, but more like this is a romance for 6-year-olds or 8-year-olds or whatever. So they're just kind of there.
Well, yeah, sometimes it's just that. I just was kind of laughing because it was like later on in college when we would all hang out and like we had some openly gay guy friends and we'd like make fun of it. It's kind of like when we would sit around like and make fun of shit Scooby-Doo, and it's like we'd just bored out of our skulls and we just watch it because it was soothing. So which one's this?
David Hutchison. So that is a cover that Ben Dunn from Antarctic Press was cool enough. We put the first 4 issues in pieces into the Planet Comics anthology, and Ben had David do that cover for some original art of Mordanix, one of the villains. And I asked if we could use that cover for this campaign, and he was like, "Sure." I mean, what else could it be for, right? So that's a commission piece that we didn't commission, but Ben was kind enough to let us use it. So I think it's a pretty bang up piece, and David's a pretty bang up artist. So
yeah. Ben's pretty cool. Like I remember following his work, like Ninja High School. If you guys don't know, Alita, Battle Nun. Those are the 2 properties that I know. And then obviously Ninja High School. There's like 3 that he's known for. I'm surprised that guy kept up 3 of those things at the same time. I remember reading them when I was a kid. I was like, damn, that guy like outputs a lot of work. And his work has really grown over the years too. Like it's changed a lot, and obviously for the better. I mean, you work hard at something. So here it is for your original artwork. So this is one of the things they can get.
Correct. They're all add-ons. So every piece of original art I did for this book is available in my little gallery, and there's I think 24 or 26 images or something like that are pencil on board you can pick up. So there's quite a bit.
Wow. And do you ink them in the computer as well? Hey, Grant.
So no, I no longer ink my own work. I just don't have the time. So Caesar, who's a gentleman from Mexico, he's my inker. So he did a variant cover, but he was the inker for me on this project. So those are my pencils. Nice.
So you each guys do a little. So how is this comic laid out? Is it just one like vignettes of stories, or just like a whole part of something?
So the book is 44 interior pages that break up into 3 stories. They're all about the same size. They're all roughly 14 pages, 15 pages. So there's 3 stories. There's the main story, and then there's this story, which is called A Day in the Life, which is Zemba's origin story. And then the next story is called Pulse Part 1, which is a 1980s themed action adventure story with the Lords of the Cosmos getting involved in a action war adventure that would be kind of like a 1980s movie.
Right. And again, I love how it's like so cheesily 80s. Like it's like cool in its own way too. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I say cheesy, I actually love cheesy shit, you know?
Sure.
Or like there's this comic called Fuckator. It's a graphic novel and it's cheesy as hell. Like you probably know about Fuckator. Yeah. So Fuckator is not for kids. It's got a pentagram filled with little severed like middle fingered hands and everything. But yeah, Luigi's work is really nice here too. And I take it you can get the inked pages for this.
Yes, for whom they're inked. I have them all in a binder ready to go wherever they need to go for their backers.
And are they variant images of it, or are they?
These are just the pages. These are the sequential pages. He didn't do a cover or anything. So it's just, these are all of his sequential pages for the book.
I mean, did he ink it actually, or these are inked?
Yep. They're all hand inked.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's good line work right here. That actually, this is his line work that reminds me of Mebius right here.
Yep.
Sasha. Okay, so Sasha, there's another one, and Sasha.
And they're all hand inked images, so they're all. I mean, they're very nice.
Which story did she do?
Sasha did Pulse Part 1.
Pulse Part 1. Okay. And what's that story Pulse about?
So it's a set in the past when there was an earlier war on the planet with the Lords of the Cosmos and the Disciples of Umex, and the general gist of Part 1 is that the Disciples of Umex are doing something that could be very catastrophic for the entire planet, and they're digging a hole of some sort, and the heroes have sent a commando team to determine what is going on and to gather intel and perhaps stop it. And the story ends with them finding a mining camp that looks like a small city outside a gigantic hole in the ground that's so big there's clouds inside of it. And they can't see what's at the bottom of this gigantic hole. And there's gigantic dump trucks moving rocks and dirt out of the hole because the villains are digging down deep into the planet for unknown purposes.
So the next one, let's see here. This is Koi's work, Koi Fam.
Yep, his ink wash original cover, so you can get his original cover art.
I like his lines. They remind me of somebody else's, and I can't remember off the top of my head that draws like that.
Yeah, he's very talented.
Yeah. And so he's just done a cover pretty much, or pinup work.
Yep, just a cover.
Yeah. And then
LC's cover there. Yep.
Okay, yeah. And then sketch covers are right here. So they can get the original sketch covers, and it's done by the different artists, basically.
Nope, they're just me. Sketch covers are just Jason things. Those are all just sketch covers I've done in the past. And I always try to do some really fun original sketch covers. I can do requests, or you can just say, Jason, make something cool, and I will make you something Lords of the Cosmos out of my imagination that will be unique and original. So we just put those up as like past examples.
No, I hear you on that. And then let's see, stretch goals. So what are we looking at? So we got the Zemba Chibi sticker unlocked.
Yep. So, well, not yet. We're not there yet. We're 1,200 change away. We got to stretch harder, everyone.
Yeah, guys, come on. You got to give more. You got to give more. You got to give more, because come on, you want that little sticker, right? Everybody loves stickers. It's an indoor-outdoor sticker, right?
Yeah, I believe it is an indoor-outdoor sticker. Yep.
Yeah, come on, stick that shit on your stuff. And so add-ons. So it's like, let's see. So yeah, I got
a lot of add-ons.
Yeah, right. Well, what's kind of nice about Kickstarter now, it's almost like Backer Kit where you can pick and choose things. So you don't need to pick package things. You can add things on. Like, let's say if you have a package for all 4 comics, but you don't have to pick a reward that has to have that and this. They could just add on to other stuff.
Yeah, and I think Kickstarter had to catch up with some of their smaller, newer competitors where there was functionality on Indiegogo and a crowdfunder that I think Kickstarter's had to really play catch up, because you're not wrong. I think one of the problems with the platform for years was that you were very rigid, because you could say, well, look, I just want to buy this cover and a pin. And if you didn't have that as a tier, you were shit out of luck. So it was like, well, you can get all 4 issues and a pin. And you're like, but I just want issue, 4 and a pin. And then how do I get a t-shirt? Well, we don't have an option to do that. So there was a lot of inflexibility in how this stuff worked. And I think It's better now that you can kind of do it. It's now it's like a buffet. It's self-serve. Get what you want. You get a cover and 2 pins and a shirt.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird, like, because the last time that I did Kickstarter with that type of backer kit type thing, not backer kit-esque type of thing, I've noticed that what it is that you kind of have to be careful because, like, you have to, it's not only just the package deal, but we have to kind of like, oh, they need this and this because it's like kind of on the side.
Yep.
So I don't know if they've changed that or updated where it's more visible, but it's like you guys kind of take, like, I know we got to take a minute to just say, okay, they got this and that and that. So, yeah. So, and then there's model sheets here. What are these for?
So those were something we created a while ago. So when we have other artists, we can give them the model sheets so they know how big these characters are.
Right. So like essentially keys, I guess they call them.
Yep.
Keys?
Color key, size. Like, so is this guy 6 feet tall, 20 feet tall? Like, what are they?
Yeah.
And,
like in relation, how tall is Zemba to other people?
Yeah, is she a giant? Is she a regular woman? Like, I mean, unless you lay it out for other artists, it's a legitimate question to say, I'm not clear on this. Because then, they do it one way, and I'm like, oh my God, she was 15 feet tall. Why didn't you know? Well, how would you know? Right?
Right.
So this is a good way just to say, I'm telling you that this person is 5'8" and that their clothes are brown or whatever it is. And then now it becomes, now you take away the guesswork and the assumptions.
Right. I hear you on that. So it's like keep track of who's who with the Lords of the Cosmos. Yeah, I see that right here. And I like how you have the flora and fauna kind of like in comparison with each other and everything. Hi, Eagle Rider. You got momentarily distracted like squirrel. And so you have Lords of the Cosmos extra physical copies.
Yep.
So what's that going on with there? Can they have different covers? It looks like they can.
Yes. So you can pick. We have new covers for all the back issues, so you can pick one of those, and you can say, man, I'm going to get 3 extra copies of number 2, and then you can get that. So it's just a way for people to add on if they want to get extra things. Yeah,
and it's $10 each. So, guys, like that's actually not bad, as well as the pin. And you can actually have this cool little poster thing. It's digital, $5 a set, physical, 20 a set. I mean, how big are the color keys?
11 to 17.
Yeah, so that's a nice, like, hangable thing. So, and you can get like a frame from Michael's or any hobby store, Hobby Lobby, wherever you want to go, and that's where it is. The only ones that I know are Michael's and Hobby Lobby. I don't think there's Aaron Brothers anymore. They used to be, but
never heard of Aaron Brothers.
Yeah, Aaron Brothers, I guess, is more in California. But then you have 15-ounce mugs for $20 out here, and damn, these are pretty cool. And let's see, these are the color mugs, and then you have, let's see, the Zemba,
Obsidia, right?
Obsidia.
Umex, Mordanix, Cycorn, right?
Cycorn's down here, right?
Cycorn's right there. Yep, he's the unicorn.
Sorry, who's this guy? The
Mordanix.
Mordanix.
He was featured in issue 4.
Oh, okay. What does he do?
He is a half man, half machine, where he has to use that big tank to take people to dissolve them to feed himself. So he would grab you with those big claws and throw you in the tank.
You know what kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of Dr. Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but with the dip. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would dissolve everything. So, hey, Catherine. Yeah, no, it's fine. You were here early. Who's this guy with the...
So those are some of the heroes that we've met in earlier issues. So the cat is Phelenix. The old man with the cape is Tietimus. And then the bird is Avitus. So the heroes all kind of have these very fancy names in that picture. And then that is Orcamemnon, who is a plant that lives inside a machine shell. And the bug is a Stinger, and he is the bug with a shotgun. Nice.
Now, is it filled with stingers, or is it filled with like salt or bullet or slugs?
Oh, we just figured it's filled with shells. It's bullets, straight up bullets. And his origin story was in issue 3. And his bug civilization that uses spears and swords is attacked by one of Umex's armies, and then he picks up the rifle of one of these raiders and turns it on them because they're basically picking on them because they're using lower forms of technology. They're using bows and spears and stuff, and they're using like cannons and guns. So he is a difference maker because he picks up the oppressor's gun and turns it back on him.
So he just kept that gun.
Yeah, that's his thing. That's his gun now, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to go in this whole court. So what do they look at? Personal property. How do they view their It's kind of funny. But looking at this, yeah, and you can even get the sketch or black and white ink
Yep.
images of those guys too. So you got a choice. You got this and you got that. Great.
Yeah.
So who is Umex, like this god? Like we've talked about Umex as part of like the whole deal. So who is this god that's actually what are his powers? What are his things that make him into a god?
He's not really a god. He's just a boss, and he's really powerful. So his main power is that he has those 3 tentacles, and he can use them to just destroy things like large metal whips. But he can also take them and inject them into the planet or into people and just inject poison and destroy things. So in issue 2, we see him fire them into the ground, and he just starts to make the planet die.
Oh.
So he's really has no redeemable value. We don't know his origin, and he is a strong man, and he has nothing positive about him. He is a straight up old school bad character. He is the top dog villain, and he is out to basically destroy the world. And he is ruthless. He's ruthless, and we don't know much about him.
So with Umex, what was the god that they serve? You said it was a god, an ancient god. So what was this god?
Oh no, that's the heroes. So the main hero looks and appears to be a fallen Greek god. So he has like Greek armor and everything else. I apologize. I might have been confusing there. So Umex is more of the traditional old school 80s villain. A little bit like Doc Terror from Centurions, a little bit like Mum-Ra. And the heroes, their main leader appears to be a Greek god, that he is no longer on Olympus, and now he is a top leader on this planet opposing these villains.
Well, that's really cool. I'm just letting everybody know to click on the link in the description. So this is, I like how this is all thought out. You know, it's funny because Lord of the Cosmos, the emblem kind of reminds me of He-Man, but not the He-Man Masters of the Universe. But remember for a hot minute around 2000, they had the He-Man, but he was more space age, and he had the triangle, upside down triangle.
Yes, I kind of do remember that. It was like a UK version.
Yeah, and he had like a regular sword pretty much. It wasn't like all brown, and it was very strange.
Yes, I do remember that. I didn't really watch much of it, but I do recall it. So there's all the stuff we did with Antarctic. You can get a full set of those books.
Mm-hmm. That sounds really good. And Antarctic Press is Ben Dunn's publication house. How did you guys get connected on that? And he, as I said, Ben Dunn's been known for Ninja High School. I think Penguina
too. I just saw Ben. It was like, hey, if you have any science fiction short stories, we'd like to help get some more eyeballs on them. And then, I was like, hey, I'd like to get these stories in your book. And he was like, okay. And then we just did a release and a contract, and then put them in his books.
Yeah. So I mean, Ben sounds like a great publisher. He's had a longevity, and he seems like he can do. I mean, as I said, it amazes me how he can like keep up with so many properties. As I said, Alita. I mean, geez, my brain is scrambled too, Jason. So Azila, Battle Nun, Ninja High School. There's also a few others, and I just totally brain farted.
Yeah, he's done a metric ton of projects, and he's had a lot of success, no doubt.
Yeah, all the art's like really top quality too for him too. It's like, dang, it's just he's been really, really prolific. So there's stickers here, right here. So what kind of vinyl are they made out of, or what are they made out of?
These are indoor stickers, and the material, I couldn't tell you. They're stickers, so that I don't know. But these stickers are definitely not outdoor stickers. These would be like the kind of stickers you'd put on your sticker album if it was 1983 and we were in 5th grade together, right? They'd go in your sticker album. I
was like so anal about my stickers because I would just go ahead and I leave them on the wax paper or the sheet, and I put them in the book. I never wanted to use them. I was like that.
I get it.
But yeah, some of the stickers are really expensive, like the puffy ones. Those are the really nice ones.
The scratch and sniff. Remember those? It's like, it smells like grape.
Yeah. Like we would huff those water markers too, like those chisel markers.
I remember that.
I was talking
to like licorice.
Yeah, it was like, like Carl Alstetter, he and I, we were talking about that. Like we grew up huffing but they didn't smell chemically. They just smelled kind of like just fruity, like they were water based.
Yeah.
And Katrin said, how was this idea born in the first place? I would really like to know. If I really want to know, I am just curious. She's from Germany. So how did this kind of start? I know you mentioned like where you pulled it from, but how did it start? Did you guys just sit around and say, hey, let's just do this or something?
Around 2016, I was kind of bouncing the idea around in my head after I saw a DC Masters of the Universe comic that I thought was pretty lame. I wasn't impressed with it. And then I ran into a gentleman also named Jason Palmatier locally. And it was kind of pure chance. I was at his house, and he was a big anime, toy, cartoon, role-playing game fan. Also was like, I'm a writer. And I said, hey, I have this idea. Would you maybe want to work with me on it? Because we're both local. And he said, I'm not as big into the Masters of the Universe as my friend Dennis Fallon is. He lives in Los Angeles, but he's from here where we live in rural Pennsylvania. He goes, I think I could come in if he came in and we could work together, because I think he'd be the right person to really have to bring us all together. And we had a phone call with the three of us, and we were all kind of on the same page. And then we just started shooting ideas at each other and trying to build a character roster and a Bible, and then a basic story arc of where we kind of felt this thing was going to start and go and then end. And we've been pecking away at it ever since, and working as a team, as owners. And then we've included as many people as we can along the way. And so it's been 7 or 8 years of just, being in the Lords of the Cosmos universe.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, it looks like a really good thought out world that I can actually skim through and look at without reading the books. I'm actually pretty impressed. And now we have bookmarks. So
yeah,
$2 each or $3 a pair. So you're cutting them a deal. So buy two, guys. At least like add more to your stuff and buy two a pair. $3 for two. $3 for two. So
the bookmarks are, maybe Umex is affecting you with some unknown power.
Right, or poison. I have no idea. So yeah, I can smell colors now. Wow. So what are the bookmarks made out of? Are they just general paper bookmarks, or what?
They are a matte product. I have not made them yet, but they're all spec'd out to order. I just haven't done it yet from a bookmark company that I found online. And you could do different levels of gloss. You could do different stock. And I picked a mid-grade stock with a matte finish. So there's just enough of a sheen. So there's something, but it's not just paper.
Nice. And then it says a virtual event. So what's this virtual event about?
So we thought it'd be cool to have a panel for Lords of the Cosmos, but then you start saying, well, where's everybody at and where are the fans? So we thought, would it be fun to do like a Zoom just for people that wanted to be with us and talk to the creators privately, and kind of give them a preview of where we're going to be going, and let them ask us like anything they want to ask, and just have like basically a panel, but it's just a panel for people that want to support it. So it's one night only. We don't know when it's going to be, but it'll be next year. So that was our thought, to have a panel. So
it's just like X amount of people can, so it's a limited amount of tickets?
I don't think it is, because it's Zoom. I don't think we limited that. So I think it's unlimited. I haven't even checked how many people will purchase them, but we just thought it'd be fun to have if we had a convention where all our fans were at and we were all there, we'd love to have a panel. So we felt this was the next best thing. We'll just do it as a big Zoom panel.
Right. Yeah, hey, that'll work out. That's fun. And guys, it's $20, so you might as well jump in and poke his head amongst all the other creators and see what's going on there. And hey, you don't have to leave your room. You could probably eat your TV dinner while you look at it right there, and you don't need to go out. So yeah, so it's the to be announced. It's just the date. It'll be sometime next year after the Kickstarter. Okay. And I'm pretty sure you guys will reach out and see what's the best schedule for everybody. So with this one, get all new covers on old issues. Oh, so what's this about? This is obviously, I think, your work right here.
Yep, those are all my images for the old books. So I really was happy with the new cover, and then I kind of looked back at the old main covers, and I thought they could use a refresh, like a fresh coat of paint, new carpet, right? And we wanted to make the older covers more 80s, so they're kind of bolder and they're brighter and they're more exciting, and I'm using a louder voice to describe it. So when we spoke with Danny Zemba, our colorist for those, we said, could you just try to make these bright like candy, like we're in the 80s. And she just said, okay. And then they're just very loud, bright covers. And we wanted to bring the old issues kind of up to the new issue standard. We really liked the Zemba main cover, and we just felt the old covers, it was time for a refresh.
Mm-hmm. So is it just like the coloring, the background coloring?
No, all new art, all new, more dynamic poses. So these covers, it's the same characters that were on these covers, because there was like two, multiple covers, multiple main covers for some of the issues, and we just wanted to make them pop and be more 80s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of funny because it's just like, hey, because you got the 80s. Look, if you grew up in the 80s, you kind of got it. How they're coming up with Radical and all this other stuff, like with the video games and everything, how they did the advertisements in there and all that. So Katrin says, I love the idea. There are such a lot of creative people around. I'm so grateful for the wonderful idea that they can produce something without the intention to do someone harm. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's fun, right? So let's see here. And guys, please click on the link for the description. That has the link to his Kickstarter. They have 4 days left. So just a little quick thing. Anything else? I'll be at Fan Expo at the end of November, but just as a heads up. So gaming mouse pads. So these are the long guys, right?
Yeah, they're 36 by 16 or 28 by 12.
Nice. And there's like different variations of
Zemba and Psycorn. There's Chibi, they're anime, they're everything.
How come you picked those characters? Those are the most popular ones that people like having?
In this issue, they probably have the most screen time. Lords of the Cosmos has kind of shifted from issue to issue where there's different characters come into focus. And this issue, they are the main troublemakers.
Oh, there we go.
Next issue, they won't be. So the next issue is going to kind of have a different focus. But for this one, Zemba and Psycorn definitely, they steal the show in this issue specifically. And then they have a connection that when you read the issue, you're like, oh, they have a connection beyond just being cool.
Oh, nice. Oh, cool. I love you creative folks. You seem to have kind hearts. Aw.
Thank you.
We all help each other. Yeah. They're most of the people in the comics community are very lovely. And here's the spicy variant set. Kids, turn off your monitors for $10.
Yeah, we had some variants of her in various states of undress, and we thought it'd be fun if people were that into it. They could just get the little digital postcards of it. So no waste here. If we had it, we put it in the Kickstarter.
So this is the digital. You're saying,
yep.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So it's a print of 4 variants, right? It's like.
It's just digital downloads. When the colorist worked on it, and with LC, there was different versions of her without clothes. So we just said, okay, great. We'll just have digital downloads for people if they want to get them. Why not?
Oh, Michael's saying, really enjoying the stream. Lennox is a really good person to interview. He is. He's very engaging.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, it's just sometimes like with some of us creators, it's sort of like, it's the deer in the headlights for some people because some people are shyer than others. But, all you need to do is talk about the work. So you got the Zemba toy. How did you manage that? How did that happen?
Every issue on the back, because we are toy and cartoon inspired, the back of every issue of Lords of the Cosmos always has a character featured in that issue as a toy. And these aren't mass produced. I have a friend, Eric D, and he has his little business. It's called the Mudroom Workshop, and he makes things. He's a maker, and he has made a toy for me for every issue as a one-off sculpt.
Oh, nice.
And then we photograph it, and then my friend Jared Brown has created a packaging template. So it looks like a toy in a blister pack. So Eric builds the toys, we photograph the toy, and there's some pictures of the photo session with Zemba the toy down below. And then we build a package. And for this Kickstarter, if you would like to buy your own 11-inch Zemba action figure, you can get a custom build from Eric. I think we sold 2 in the campaign. He said he would be willing to make up to 5. So the inside cover is the back of the package, and if you remember toys from that era, the characters had a little story in the back of the box and statistics and everything else. So we really tried to capture that feeling that people like me had when we were young kids, going to Kmart with mom and tugging on her skirt to buy an action figure because we were so excited about the stats on the back and the toy and the blister pack. So
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of G.I. Joe. Remember, they would show different things in Transformers. They'd have the thing.
Yep.
So yeah, 11 inches, right? That's actually
Yep.
cool.
She's a modified Barbie. So,
Hmm.
and there she is at her photo shoot. You can see down there. She was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Really quick. So it's a $300 for one toy, or is it one of them basically?
It's just one. You get your own custom build, and we'll include some packaging artwork for you as well.
Oh, nice, nice. So it's like something you can like keep forever and ever and ever and make condition. Nice. And so that's one of them, you guys. So hop on and get this guy. Like that's actually pretty cool. So this one is retailer tier. So obviously this is for the retailers.
Just bunches of stuff. Yep.
So 20 books, 4 of each issue, 5 enamel pins, and 2 posters and new cover. Nice. That's a starter pack for Lords of the Cosmos. Very good. Okay, t-shirts. So are these screen?
Yep. They're screen printed. Yep.
That's what it is. Screen printed. Yeah. So Lords of the Cosmos and Jason Lenox. So what's this thing with a snake right here? This is the first one I've seen.
So every year for forever, I make just a Jason t-shirt as a riff on something from heavy metal music, and that is my nod to an album from Pantera called The Great Southern Trendkill, which had a rattlesnake on it. I like cobras, so I call it The Great Pennsylvania Trendkill because we live in Pennsylvania, so I thought it was fun. Yes, but definitely similar to Kenner, no doubt.
It kind of reminds me of Cobra. I know like Cobra is more stylized, but it reminds me of Cobra, obviously.
Yeah.
Back in the day for G.I. Joe. So.
There's the Lords of the Cosmos logo on a shirt, so you can show your fandom.
What kind of shirt is it? A cotton or polyester blend? Or
I think it's a cotton polyester blend. The brand that we've been getting from my screen printer is Gildan or Gildan.
Yeah, and it's a pretty thick t-shirt. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's like cotton, probably a cotton blend or mostly cotton, and it's thick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Very good. The art of Jason Lenox.
Yep. No, that's my art book that I did with a company called Mini Comics a year ago. So they're just a $15 art book. It's like 80 some pages, or I'm sorry, 70 page. I better read my own description. It's just a bunch of color artwork I did of original ideas and public domain stuff. So
very nice. How many pages is it?
70.
70 page. I'm looking for numbers, and it just says 70 page right there. So soft cover art book. So yeah, and are they going to come signed or not?
Of course,
signed?
I'll sign all the stuff. Of course, yeah.
Okay, yeah, just curious about it. Awesome. So what got you into art right here, since we're on the subject of your work?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
What got you into drawing? Like, did you draw as a kid? Did you learn later in life?
Yep, I drew as a kid, and kind of just a couple, probably about a dozen years ago, I just started trying to do more focused projects like books and stuff like that, so I could step my game up. So I've been doing that. And then the next reward, the digital pack of Ugly Studios books, are all the things that I made with some of my buddies as Ugly Studios the years prior to Lords of the Cosmos, from like 2011 to 2016. So there was a bunch of stuff we had put out as a group. So
what is the thing about Ugly Studios? Like, what was the basis of that one as a brief overall?
It was a couple of us that were on the old Heavy Metal Magazine bulletin board on their website before they shut it down, and just said, hey, we have Facebook, so screw our website bulletin board. So we're always chatting about making books on there. And when Heavy Metal decided to shut down their bulletin board, we were like, well, why don't we try to make a book? And then we just said, let's call ourselves Ugly Studios. And then we made Ugly Studios Presents 1, 2, and 3. And then I made some art books, and my buddy Joe made 3 books, El Tenebras, and his Golden Age superhero book. And we had a lot of fun with it for a couple of years. And then we all kind of moved on.
Nice. Yeah, it's one of those things that you do. I was just kind of curious about that because I don't think I've heard of Ugly Studios. I just knew of more of your recent work. This I remember because I'm part of this.
Yep.
Yeah, DemonBitch is a part of it. Yeah, so it's like this was a fun book to work on, and this is the book that Jason's the best known for. I mean, obviously there's Lords of blah.
Lords of the Cosmos.
Lords of the Cosmos. Sorry, it's been a long week. I
get you.
So yeah, it's a fun coloring book, and the physical copy is $15, but you could print the pages out if you get the digital.
Yep. And that was my biggest Kickstarter to date, and it had a bunch of backers, and I think it funded at $16,666, which was fascinating.
Did you not feel good? You were just like, damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can't plan it, because that last couple minutes people are adding and subtracting, and you're like, wow, it was like hitting a dollar on Price is Right.
So what was the original goal? The goal, like the base goal for Satanic Coloring Book?
I think it was $5,000. I think.
Yeah. So I mean, I bet you feel pretty good about that. I would. So,
yeah. No, it was a great book, and I still have copies to sell. So it's one of those things. It's another it's another feather in your cap to get. I think you feel good, and I'm sure you feel the same way, just to complete a project where it's like it's done, right?
Yeah.
And not languishing as like, well, I was working on it and I never finished it, so it's done. You can buy. Here's a book. It feels good.
Right. I hear you on that. So let's take a look down here. So Satanic Coloring Book. This is a must add. This was fun. This was a fun project to deal with and to draw on. And it's a great book with a lot of great illustrations. I got to take a look at it myself because I was part of it right there. I'm totally brain farty today. So the pledge. So
yes.
No AI. Yes, no AI. So no generative AI, guys. So there you go. Mm-hmm. And every person who worked on this project was paid in money, not exposure. So it's completely and totally ethical, both ways. No risk. The project is 100% complete and ready for backers. Jason has been a long-time Kickstarter guy, so he's always fulfilled that. I have not heard a complaint ever that he didn't fulfill his stuff. So, guys, I know personally that he actually goes and does what he says he does. He's not a newbie at this. So,
and it's interesting. I actually had one backer complain that he felt that this took too long to put on Kickstarter because it's been so long since the 4th issue. And I said, well, part of the issue is I worked to get the book all done before I launched the campaign. So there's a little additional weight where we got the book done versus funding it and then said, I got to work for a little bit more. So,
that kind of separates the people that have been experienced in Kickstarter to people that are new to Kickstarter. I hear so many stories like, oh, I'll just kickstart the book and actually draw it. I'm like, no, then you're never going to finish the book.
That's a painful process. And I think it puts a lot of pressure on you because once people give you money, then there's, well, Christy, where's my thing? I bought it. And you're like, well, my mother has to get surgery, so I'm out for that. And I'm moving and my cat's sick. And then people are like, I don't care about all that. I want my stuff. And then I'll get around to it. And I don't like that relationship with backers, and I don't think it's fair to them or the creator. So I think you're better just to get your book done and then go out and work to fund it. And if you can, that's the proper way to do it.
Right. Okay, so we got credits here. So we got all the credits. We kind of went over them.
We kind of did.
Yeah.
We kind of did, but we tried to make sure everyone, we didn't miss anyone. So
I know our victim here. So yeah, it's Jason, obviously, Dennis, he's the co-writer, and Jason Palmetier, that's the co-writer, writer, letterer, co-creator. So do you guys just sit together in a room, you and Dennis, and just kind of talk it out, like how you want the story arc or something? Like
typically we're never together in person. It's just a lot of phone calls and chatting and, trying to figure things out and email. Right. It'd be fun if we could pull a real writer's room, but, with Dennis living in Los Angeles, that can be pretty tricky, right?
Oh, yeah, Dennis Fallon. I think I've heard of Dennis Fallon. Does he go to cons as well? Like,
I don't know he ever has.
Yeah. I think we are in the same area, but yeah, and then you have Danny Zemba. Wait, is Zemba's name kind of taken from Danny right here?
So funny story with that. So Danny, her name forever was Kalakis, and I paid her on PayPal, and then on PayPal it was like, you've paid Danny Zemba, and this was years ago, and I was like, wait, what's that? She goes, well, that's my not married name, from when I was a kid. It's my original name. And I was like, oh, that's fucking cool as shit. I just thought it was a cool name. And when we were throwing the characters together, I was like, let's use that because we never hear it. And then she got divorced and she got rid of that name and went back to her old name. So yes, Zemba I always thought was kind of like a cool little secret, and then now it's her name in the credits. So there definitely is some DNA there with Danny and Danny Zemba and Zemba the character. But I just, it was one of those things, and I'm sure a lot of creatives are like this. You see cool little things and you just suck it into your creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never heard that name until I saw it on a PayPal invoice, and I just thought it was fresh.
Well, I heard this person cussing other person out, calling the other person DemonBitch. So that kind of stuck in my head. I'm like, oh, DemonBitch.
Sure. We just, we soak up our environment, and you see something cool and you just, but I think you're the first person to actually make that connection. I've actually kind of been wondering why more people haven't, but good for you.
I tend to be observant. That's all, even though I'm like, can't talk today. But the Cybertronic Spree, I'm trying to think, are they the guys that like dress up as Transformers and they sing?
Yeah, no. So I've always supported their albums. I think they're cool, and I sent them a message, and I said, "Can I use your music to do the trailer?" They wrote me back a note, and they were like, "Of course, we know who you are, and you've always supported us, and we think what you do is really cool, and we'd love to, use this." And I said, "Do you need paid, and how would that work?" And they're like, "No, we got you. Just use the music. It's all good." And I was like, "Oh,
credit us, whatever, that's fine."
Yeah, and I just was like, "Okay, well, I mean," and again, they didn't get paid, but I did offer to pay, and they were just like, "Nah, we're good. Just use it."
You know what? I don't think that's bad. Like if you want to go in, I don't want to say donate, but just give your services. I think that's a choice for every artist. I don't think, any artist should be compelled to or forced to, but if they're asked to, that's a totally different thing. But it's like, if they volunteer it, they volunteer it,
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys, if you are wondering, hey, I like this band, what am I going to do? Like be prepared to pay, but it's a short ask away. Like, hey, would you like to do this?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Again, going back to ethical behavior, you ask permission and you offer to pay, and they were just like, "Nah, you're good. We know who you are. You supported our projects. Like, go with our blessing." And they put it in writing, so I saved it. And
Okay.
so they were, and they just, we don't care. We like you. So, rock out, make something cool, make us proud.
Now, to kind of give people like a general idea of how much they need to give for music, this will not be indicative of everybody, guys. So everybody has their own price. You don't have to say the exact number, but what would you say would be the expectation to pay for music? A reasonable expectation to start. I mean, obviously,
I'm not going to lie to you. I really don't know, because they could have said, "Give us $50," or they could have said, "We want $10,000." And I know so little about music licensing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would have said that seems a lot or a little, because I don't know. And I guess I didn't really have an answer in mind except to say, what would, how would we do that? And they were just like, no.
Yeah. So you kind of just said, what would work for you? I'm willing to pay, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, what would you want for this? And it was like, don't worry about it. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
So I never really got that deep into it, because they were just, they're just very kind people. And, and they're not wrong. I always have supported their albums as a backer, and I think they're cool. So rock out.
Yeah. No, guys, I kind of want to give people sort of an idea of like what to expect from music in general, especially if it's a band kind of thing. Because I'm familiar with the Cybertronic Spree. I see their videos every so often and all that.
Sure.
Kind of wonder how they perform in them, because that shit's got to be really hot after a while.
They really seem cool. I mean, they have their. I've never seen them without their makeup. They're always in their like armor and makeup and whatever, and it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like this book is 100% complete and ready to go to print. So as you said, make sure at least the project is ready to go to print, because
we're very close to it, right? That they're like, hey, we've got a tweak or two, and there's a couple tweaks that I got to make in issue 3, because we reworked all the margins and pages and did a lot of work to make the old ones better and make them more of the standard that I expected on the new book. So I put a lot of work into those, and there's actually, I got a test print of a I got a test print of all the books, and there was a couple errors in issue 3 that need cleaned up. So I got to take about 2 hours and go fix them. Then we can resubmit 3-page files. That'll be up to my annoying standards. Catherine B, when did you all start to seriously draw stories? For me, I would say about 12 years ago of actually trying to make comic books, like for real.
And so what took you to that time to do it? Did you just kind of like, not right now, and then you just ended up saying, fuck it, I'll do it?
I think that's fair. Like I'll do it later. I don't know if I want to. And then, I think, people can change at any point in their lives, whether they want to be like a bodybuilder or, get serious about like photography or whatever it is.
Right.
And, some people cross the bridge and they do it and other people just don't. But, it took me till I was a little bit older to actually do it.
So was it because like you had to kind of read up on it? I mean, not necessarily read the textbooks, but, kind of like you kind of amassed your share of media in the medium. You read it and then it kind of went like, crazy. Oh, okay. Now I get it kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think even at that point, you're just still going to jump on at some point, and then you're going to look back and say, well, I can't believe all the things that I screwed up and didn't do right or didn't do well. But, the other part of that is you're not going to learn how to get better until you actually do it and you start making mistakes and you start saying, geez, I wish I wouldn't have done that when I did this story. Mm-hmm. And, someone may say, that didn't really make a lot of sense when you did that, or you could have done that better, or why did you do that way? That would have been an easier way to do it. And, you the more you do, the better you get, because it gives you the ability to flag out mistakes and errors and get critiques and everything else. So I don't know that anyone ever is done learning, because even like the best artists probably could do something a little better. So, I think part of the fear of starting is, well, I won't make the best thing ever, but it's like, but who is? And your first thing is probably going to be your worst thing. I think that's kind of hard for people to maybe stomach, that what if I make it and it's kind of crap? But it's like, but yeah, you got to make something to even get to that point, to get past the crap.
Mm-hmm. I hear you on that. So let's see here. Yeah, so that's good. And it's like the book is 100% complete and ready to go to print. My other 12 previous Kickstarters has been delivered as promised on time for over a decade. So there we go. That's awesome. As I said, you guys will get the shit. That's the thing. And what I liked about it is like when we went down, it showed the prices, so we don't have to go down and scroll on the side and confuse everybody, because now it's like, oh, this price is this. This is an actual good thing. So
yeah, I agree with that. You got to make it easy, so you're not trying to like match up the two things. So you make sure that the campaign is accurate to what's on the right side. I do agree that's important. I do like your badass tip jar thing, though. There you go. Yeah, it's heart, right? It's how do you show love? It's a heart. So we, Tara, who did the graphics for the Kickstarter, I said, can we have something that shows love? And that's what she came up with, and I felt it was loving. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was cute. It's like love, but in the heavy metal sense and the weird vial sense. It's like, it's just a human heart. There we go. Very loving. Mm-hmm. Very loving. I like that. Tip jar. Tip jars are nice because you could just throw money at them. Now, you can go and just say pledge amount, but tip jar is kind of a nice way to say, hey, tip me. That's it. And that actually puts it towards. So if you don't have a lot to give, then you just go ahead and do that. And it goes towards it. And remember, guys, like every little bit counts on that, like especially like for postage and such. So yeah, so 6,795 out of 152 backers and 4 days to go. And Catherine says, I love you for this never quitting sense of going on. That's nice. Well, thank you very much, Catherine. I hope you can support the book. Yeah, guys. So let's see. Let me go and refresh it to see if anything jumped. That doesn't mean that, if anything, let's see, 6,795. So 152 backers still, but guys, tell your friends, share it around, share this video around, because in the description, I do have it in there, the link. So please, in the next few days, either donate if you can't, or pledge, or get stuff. He's got great stuff. Just go ahead and, share it around in that meantime. X, YouTube, everything. Just share it around. Help the algorithm. So, yeah, every little bit helps, Christy. It's 100% right. It's like voting. Every vote counts. It sounds cliche, but it is true.
Yeah.
And, to everyone that took time to listen today, thank you. Appreciate the kind comments from some of the watchers. And, yeah, every little bit helps. Even if you can just chip in $1, it helps with the backer count and everything else. So, I always appreciate getting to catch up with you. And thanks for having me on your show today for lunch.
Yeah, always pleasant, man. It's just like it was great company, and we actually finished right on time. So there we go. So
Boom.
yeah, so this will be rebroadcast over and over. Feel free to share this video on your stuff.
Yep.
And I have it on mine already. So just go ahead and do that. And as I said, the link is in the description, or should be, so people can easily click on it.
Perfect. Christy, again, thanks for your friendship, and thanks for being a kind and gracious and fun host. And I always appreciate having you in my life because you're pretty freaking cool. For a demon bitch.
Right. All right, guys. So you have a great day. And next week, I think I'll be on. Sorry, guys, I've been sporadic because I've just been going to cons. But you know what? I'll go ahead and keep in touch. But yeah, follow my social media. Click the link to subscribe for Indie Comics Network, as well as my own YouTube, just in case if something messes up. Otherwise, you can go on my social media pages and do all the things. So you guys have a great day. Support Jason. Get him past actually 7,008 to get that cool sticker.
Let's get that stretch goal rolling. Get that sticker.
Right. Okay. So you guys take care, and you have a great day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.